Who do you think is more valuable to the New York Knicks right now? Carmelo Anthony or Tyson Chandler? And I think that's a fair question.
Very fair.
So I really, because like I said to it in the chat room, Melo's averaging almost 30 a game, which that's really hard to replace. But at the same time, this Knicks team dominated the Miami Heat by 20 in Miami with no Melo. I don't think they do that without Chandler.
I agree.
I still think they could have won that game the way they shot the ball, especially in that third quarter. But I think Chandler, I think there's an argument there.
Do you now?
I do.
Make it. I'd love to hear it.
Well, Tyson Chandler is the catalyst of the Knicks' defensive game.
Anytime Tyson Chandler gets amped up and pumped up with a big dunk or whatever it might be, that whole team changes their attitude. He is the leader of the defense. He controls the paint. And I couldn't count the amount of missed shots the Knicks have that Tyson Chandler jumps up and smacks back out for an offensive rebound. How many second possessions he gets for that Knicks team. How many opportunities he gets them for open three-point shots because of him getting rebounds. What? You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
Because I think you're absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Not
Why?
that they wouldn't be a worse defensive team without him, but as far as who is a bigger piece to the team, there's no doubt about it, it's Melo.
But they've already won without him in convincing fashion.
Yeah, they won
Against
without him, but,
the previous world champion.
okay, but ask yourself, are they going to beat the Heat without Melo in a 7-game series? No.
We're talking about.
But they're not.
I
Gonna
was
beat
under the
Heat in a
impression we were
7-game
talking about a
series
couple
without Chandler
games.
either.
See, I'll disagree there. To be honest, the difference in the Knicks team didn't come because Chandler was last year's Defensive Player of the Year. The change came because of the coach. Chandler was there when D'Antoni was there, and Chandler wasn't what he is now. Credit what Chandler's doing to Mike Woodson. Mike Woodson is the man who got them playing defense, not Tyson Chandler.
Yeah, he's the one who got the whole team playing defense, not Chandler, though. Chandler was doing it the whole time.
Listen, we all saw how much Chandler was doing when D'Antoni was there.
Well, it's kind of difficult if you're the only one on the court doing it. Goodson got the rest of the team and got him to help a little bit. But we know there were games that Chandler didn't play last year. Those teams did not play defense. Before D'Antoni got fired, there were a couple games Chandler didn't play. In those games, they got killed.
Melo is arguably, and I'll say arguably, right now, the MVP of the league.
I'm not going to dispute that. I am going to say the question here was a 7-game series against Miami. And
The question was...
No, the question is who's more valuable to the
Knicks?
team.
But at some point,
or Melo?
he brought up this 7-game series against Miami, and I just think if you're talking that way, I do think Chandler's more important because you think about it, Melo can be neutralized by either LeBron or Wade on defense. Who's taking on Chandler defensively? It's not going to be Bosh.
Chandler's not an offensive guy.
Okay, on the defense...
Chandler rarely scores over 20 points.
Rarely, yes.
Chandler rebounds some nights, but there are plenty of other nights where I've seen he has 6 to 7 boards.
Okay, but what he does doesn't just translate into box score, though.
Well, Dave made the specific point of how many, I can't count how many shots he's tipped back and created second chances.
They don't count.
They get out-rebounded every single game.
Because those don't count as rebounds. They
But I'm
count
just
as
saying,
loose balls.
Yeah, but they're not, listen,
The
I
things
watched the game
Chandler
last night too, and the Knicks were going to win that game with or without Chandler.
And they would have won that game with or without Melo, probably, too. The Nets scored, what they put up in the second half?
38. You told me that.
38 points in the second half. That's it. They couldn't hit a jumper to save their life. They struggled to hit the 20-point.
I watched 2 blocks, but Chandler didn't have either of them. I watched J.R. Smith have a block.
So we're going to highlight the one thing he does on defense in the last week.
No, but what I'm saying, though, is you guys make it seem like losing Chandler would be the worst thing. You guys forget. The Knicks have Amari coming back. They have Camby coming back. They have Rashid on the bench. They got some guys who could step in. Rashid could step in and do what he's doing right now.
No, he couldn't.
He could step in
not
and
at
do
all.
what Wallace
Not at
Rasheed
all.
Wallace wants to hang out at the three-point line.
I'm saying defensively.
And Camby's been coming back all season, basically. At this point, I wonder what Camby's going to do. And Wallace, hey, I'm not going to dispute the impact he had, but you can't compare Rasheed Wallace to Tyson Chandler at this stage in Wallace's career. I'm not sure ever you really could have done it, at least on the defensive end.